I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, for one thing, I'd be a failure at anything else probably. I mean, I'm not gonna. No, I mean, I had fun when I was in my 20s, my 30s. Now I'm 86, and I'm having fun. And so I advise students as much as possible, look for the job that you would take if you didn't need a job. I mean, don't sleepwalk through life, and don't say it's all going to be great. I'll do this and I'll do that, and I'm just marking time to get to be older. That, as I've told people, that's like saving up sex for your old age. I mean, it just is not it is not a good idea. Yeah.
What are you urging them to do?
I'll explain just what I'm talking about. Now, you really want to be doing what you love doing, and you can't necessarily find it on your first job.
Right.
But don't give up before you find it.
Bill, you've had the unique experience, A, because of your curiosity, B, because of your involvement in global health, to see the impact of a lot of other areas, whether it's biomedicine or whether it's a whole range of other things other than computer science. If you were going to drop out of Harvard today, which field would you be most likely attracted to?
Well, I love the hard sciences, and there's some phenomenal things that people will get a chance to be part of. I'd still probably pick computer science because the work in artificial intelligence today is at a really profound level. Our ability not just to play games, but that is a profound milestone, the AlphaGo work that the DeepMind people at Google were able to achieve. And that kind of technology is in all the leading companies and a lot of universities. With AI, creation of agents, the ability to read and understand material, it is going to be phenomenal. So anything connected with that, I think, would be an exciting lifetime career. I also think in energy, we have the imperative to have energy that's reliable, cheap, and clean. And no system available today can provide that, whether it's for rich countries or for poor countries. And so the innovations there will be profound, and there's many paths that could provide that solution. Finally, I think biology, it's the most thrilling time. We are going to figure out obesity, cancer, even things that are very hard like depression, because the mind is even more complicated than other parts of the body. I see this through the lens of the disease of the poor, the infectious disease, where new vaccines, new drugs, we are moving faster than ever. And some of these are platform technologies like DNA vaccines that are going to give us just that one thing will give us lots and lots of solutions. And so working in that space is phenomenal. Now, I say this, to my children, and they may not want to do hard sciences. The one who's picked wants to counsel patients and be a doctor, and even more than the science piece, that relationship with patients is what grabs her. So everybody has their own taste, but in terms of big impact, those three hard science problems would be at the top for me.
All right, next, right here, right next to number one.
Hello, thank you guys for being here. Also, thank you to Mr. Gates. I am also a Gates Scholar, and without your foundation, I wouldn't be here. Many industrial-based communities have been severely affected with higher levels of unemployment due to the increasing utilization of automation, which ends up displacing workers. What do you believe is a possible solution to unemployment arising from automation?
It's a good question. Because there's a lot of talk about globalization and all of that, and a lot of other people step forward and talk about how technology and the impact technology is having on jobs and the demand for new kinds of skills.
Yeah, we were here in 1800 and conducting this, and somebody would point out that eventually tractors would come along and better fertilizer and that 80% of the people are now employed on the farm, and in a couple hundred years it's going to be 2 or 3%. And what are we going to do with all these people? Well, the answer is we release them. Keynes wrote something about it in something called Essays on Persuasion, wrote in 1930 about what a more prosperous society would become like. And he actually postulated that in 100 years, and we're now 87 years from that, that there would be 4 to 8 times as much output per capita. That's remarkable. But he didn't quite get how it might get distributed. But the idea of more output per capita, which is what the progress is made on productivity, that should be harmful to society is crazy. I mean, the distribution may be a problem, but if one person could push a button and turn out everything we turn out now, is that good for the world or bad for the world? You know, you'd have to figure out how to distribute it, but you'd free up all kinds of possibilities for everything else. So everything should be devoted initially to getting greater productivity, but people who fall by the wayside through no fault of their own, as the goose lays more golden eggs, should still get a chance to participate in that prosperity, and that's where government comes in.
Right. Bill, anything to add to that?
Yeah, a problem of excess is a different problem than a problem of shortage. You know, if all the tractors and computers stopped working, then we would have problems of shortage there. And you know, we just wouldn't have enough people to make the output. A problem of excess really forces us to look at the individuals affected and take those extra resources and make sure they're directed to them in terms of re-education and incomes policies, and the need for labor in terms of smaller class size, helping handicapped kids, reaching out to the elderly. The demand for labor is not at zero. If you ever get to that point, fine, you can shorten the work week, and you'll be just fine with that. And so this idea of taking an individual who during their generation is affected, I think there's a lot to be learned about that, a lot of thinking we have to do. But the macro picture that it enables is an opportunity.
Number 2. Also, I'm urging people at the back, so you have a chance. We want to go back up to the balcony as well. So I see number 6. We'll come to 6 after 2. Yes.
Hi, my name is Sam. I go to Columbia College, and my question is, what steps do you think need to be taken in order to improve public education, particularly in economically depressed areas of the United States?
Bill's the educational.
Yeah. I think this is a super important issue because the dropout rates, although they've gone down a little bit, they're still very high and vary based on income. And even kids who graduate, a lot of them don't enter college, or they do enter college and they end up in these remedial courses for their reading or math capabilities. And those people have an extremely high dropout rate from higher education, and you know, they can incur debt, they have a negative experience. So we have a long ways to go in education. There are some very strong points of light, like here in New York City, some of the charter schools are, with even less resources than schools at large, doing a phenomenal job of educating kids. There are a lot of countries, particularly in Asia, who, spending way less of their GDP on education, are doing a great job educating their kids. And it's not just the top 20%. Their bottom 20% is pretty phenomenal in the case of China, South Korea, and Singapore. And so looking at what we've learned in charter schools in terms of building the culture, giving teachers feedback, what is good teaching look like? Do we give teachers a chance to learn from each other about that interactive element that makes the subject seem relevant and important? There are great teachers, but spreading those practices has been very, very tough. And so I'd say it's a top priority, and our foundation has that for our work in the United States. Education is the top priority, whereas outside the U.S. We take on health. It's a tough problem because the institution of education are fairly resistant to change, and people are not yet convinced by various approaches very easily, but we need to keep at it. We're going to stay and even actually put even more money into trying to help